What up, what up, what up? What's going on, IG? What's going on with y'all? TY was good, boy. Let's get a few in here. Go talk about these banks today. How these banks manage and multiply their money. Hope y'all had a good day. Whoever we got this evening, we just go rock out and we go learn a little bit. My bro ZB was good with you, boy. What's good with y'all, man? How y'all day been? Give it a second here before I get started. Yeah, yeah. All right, y'all. So check this out. Listen, so for anybody that's gonna see this now live or watch it another time, let me just introduce myself. My name is Brandon Lamar Jackson. I am a legacy coach, life coach, and I practice and teach the infinite banking concept, how to utilize cash value life insurance in order to build wealth and build a legacy for your family, right? So, what's going on, everybody? Tapping in. Appreciate y'all coming in. Appreciate y'all coming in. I see y'all coming in. I appreciate it. So, listen, check this out. Today, I'm going to be talking about this infinite banking concept, right? What I've been teaching on how to maximize life insurance policies to really truly be able to create wealth within the family dynamic, but also to actually create a family banking system, right? So that's what I'm gonna be talking about. So the first thing we need to first understand is that with this whole infinite banking, it's a mindset before it ever becomes a banking policy, right? It's a mindset shift that you have to be able to tap into. Um, it's really, y'all. I've taken my financial literacy to a whole nother level, understanding, being able to understand, study, and learn this infinite banking system. Being able to implement this for my family. So one thing, like I said, I want you to understand is that it's not just an insurance product, right? It's not just an insurance product. This is a lifestyle. This is a mentality. This is a whole nother level of financial literacy that you not go really be privy to if you're not really going in and studying it. So first off, I'm just grateful to be able to have this knowledge, that I've been able to attain it, and I want to be able to share it with our community, right? Oh yeah, you good, bro. You good. I appreciate you, man. So we're gonna still get it in. So listen up, listen up. So first thing, y'all, is this is the concept that I want y'all to get tonight. Is that studying the bank is the best way that you can study money, right? Studying the bank and how they manage money is the best way that you can actually study money. When banks receive money, they know what to do with it. First of all, when the Federal Reserve prints money, it goes directly into the banking system and banking accounts. And when we, as people, we also do what? We put our money into banking accounts. So my knowledge and my thought process is that if the banks in our society are the biggest handlers of money, then we should study what the banks do in order to understand what we need to do with our money, right? That makes sense. If you knew somebody was the best at baking a cake, and you was able to study, be in the kitchen with them and study exactly what they did, and be able to understand every single ingredient that they put into that cake, then you would also know how to make that cake the same way they did, right? So when I'm teaching this banking system, I'm actually teaching you not only how to use the cash value life insurance, but actually how to operate and function as the bank also operates and functions. Because if we learn that, then we can learn how to actually utilize our money, manage it, and maximize it. So, and going into that, what I want y'all to understand is that there are three teams, right? If you taking notes, if you jotting stuff down, if you got a pen, if you got a pencil, I want you to start jotting this down because I'm about to start teaching. So listen up, check this out. So the first thing that you need to know is that when it comes to this game of money, that there are three teams. There are three teams that you need to remember. All right, and the three teams are the producer, the consumer, and thirdly, the banker, right? So there's the consumer. Actually, I'm about to pull out this. I'm gonna pull out this whiteboard. Let me know if y'all can see this. I'm gonna try to put this down a little bit. Y'all bear with me real quick. Let me know if y'all can see this. All right. All right, y'all. Getting out the whiteboard. So, three teams. My kids dead. Can y'all see this? Dang, my marker. They didn't dry it out. My marker. I ain't got a marker. Man, this is terrible. All right. Three teams, y'all. Listen up. Three teams. If I can't write it out, man. I'ma just speak to y'all. My kids didn't dry out all my markers. So listen up. Listen, there's three teams that y'all need to know: the consumer, the producer, and the banker. And what you need to understand is that the consumer, as we most start off to be, right? We consume products and services from the bank. So what are those products and services? Those products and services are car loans, home mortgages, credit cards, whatever the case may be. We are literally, those are things that the bank are financing for us, right? Those are things that the bank is financing for us. So that's what a consumer is. So some of us fall into the consumer category. Then we have what's called the producer. So the producer is the one that is creating the products, right? So they're the ones that are building the homes, making the cars, and making the phones that we are currently on right now, right? But they also have to borrow money from the bank in order to make those products and services that the consumer consumes. So the consumer borrows money from the bank to get their products, right? And the producer borrows money from the bank to make the products for the consumer to consume. Does that make sense? Am I making sense? All right. So the key is that every dollar generally comes back circulating to the bank. The producer borrows money from the bank when they make the products, and then they sell those products, and the consumer borrows money from the bank in order to buy the products from the producer. And what we find is that sometimes, often as business owners, we get to the point where we become the producer, but we never become the banker. We get to the point where we stop consuming as much. We stop borrowing as much money from the bank. Maybe we even started a business. Maybe we've gotten, a little bit more knowledge when it comes to how to manage our money. But even then, we still find our way having to borrow money from the bank, and the bank always wins in the end. And so what I want you to understand is that we can also be the bank, right? Is that we can also be the bank. We can also be the ones that are being the lenders and not just being the lenders, right? And not just the borrowers. Being the ones that is always the one that is winning at the end, and not always the one having to be subject or dependent on the banking system. Okay? So that's the first thing, is that you must understand that the three teams: the consumer, the producer, and the banker. And ultimately, we want to be the banker at the end of the day. Okay? So listen. So with this in the banker and understanding how the bank manages and multiplies their money, is the first thing we need to go back into, and what I just spoke on is that how does the bank get their money? Can anybody answer that for me? How does the bank get their money? The bank gets their money from the deposits that their customers deposit into their bank accounts, right? When we as customers deposit the money into bank accounts, that money is now in the possession of the bank, right? Yeah. ZB said the Federal Reserve. Right, you right, bro. So one way that they get their money is through the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve prints money and it gets deposited into the bank. And most people don't know that the Federal Reserve is actually a private entity. It's not a government entity. We often assume that the Federal Reserve is a government entity. It's not. It's a private entity, and they print the money and then send the money to the banks, and actually is loaned to the banks. So that's one way. The second way that the banks get their money is through customer deposits. So with that being said, do y'all think that the bank believes that cash, that the deposits that they get from the Federal Reserve and the deposits that they get from consumers, from their customers, are assets or liabilities? Are the deposits that we put into the bank, does the bank consider those deposits assets or liabilities? The bank considers our deposits as customers as a liability. Why? Because now they owe us that money. They consider that money, when we deposit our check into their account, they consider that money a debt, because now they owe it to us. When the Federal Reserve deposits money into the bank, they consider it as a debt, because now they owe somebody something. And not only do they owe us, they also owe us interest. So whenever you put your money to a savings account, you're supposed to get technically interest on top of it, right? You're supposed to receive interest, right? Generally, it's pretty much nothing nowadays, 0.5%. But nonetheless, the bank is on the hook to one, have that money liquid to you, right? And then secondly, to be able to give you that interest rate. So first thing that y'all need to understand is most people, we look at money as an asset, and it's not. Money is a liability. It's only turned into an asset and when it produces itself. Money is only an asset until it produces another one of itself. So until money duplicates itself, it's a liability. All right. I know that's tricky. Maybe you haven't heard that before, but there's, if you think about it, it makes sense. Until money can actually work on its own, it's not an asset. It's a liability. All right. So when the bank gets our deposits, what do they do with them? That's the second question. When the bank gets our deposits, what do they do with those deposits? They immediately want to turn that debt cash that they owe us and flip it into an asset. Well, you ask B, how do they flip the money into an asset? They offer us products and services, right? Products and services that we consume, and then they turn around and transfer the debt that we had to them back to us by offering us loans that we accept. Loans in the form of car loans, mortgages, personal loans, home equity line of credit, personal line of credit, credit cards. These are all ways that the bank knows how to turn their debt that was once a debt because they owed us the money, and then flip around and turn that debt right back to us because they're now offering us products and services that transfers the risk back to us, and then now they're making money, right? Now they're making money. So that 0.5% that they owed you from the savings account, now you're basically paying that because you've borrowed money from them at a much higher interest rate. Does that make sense? Whatever you were going to make from the bank by keeping your money in the savings account, they've transferred that risk back to you by offering you products and services that turn around and get you into debt with them instead of it being them into debt with you. Yeah, that's what happens. And then, so how do we know that? What is the interest rate on a car loan typically? Probably anywhere from 6 to 12%. Interest rates on credit cards, we in the 20% or higher. Mortgages, 4 to 8%. They literally are making 300, 400, 500, 600% difference of what we're paying them than what they're paying us. So the first thing that we need to understand is that when we get our money, if we're acting like the bank, if we're being the bank, we need to turn our debt cash into asset cash. What is our debt cash? Our debt cash is money that we had to go out and put our hard-earned time and effort into. If you had to go work for the money, if you had to go labor for it, that's it. You was indebted to that money, right? Every single day we go to our job, we're indebted to that dollar. We're indebted to that dollar because we had to take our physical labor, right? Our time, our labor, our sweat out of our day to go make money. So you are indebted to that money. Until you're able to turn that money into where now that money is now making money on its own, it's always going to be a debt. It's always going to be a debt. Right? So that's the myth number one. Write that down. Money is not an asset. It's a liability. And it's not an asset until it's able to be in a system or function or investment that duplicates itself. All right. Myth number two. Myth number two that I want to get to y'all real quick. Let me check my notes, y'all, because I don't want to miss nothing. Hold on. Let me get my computer back up. I don't want to miss nothing. Number two. One thing that we also believe this about money, is that we're supposed to save our money in banks. Right? That's what we're taught, right? Save your money in the bank, right? Open up a savings account. Hey, be good with your money and save your money in the bank. The truth is, banks don't even save their own money in the bank, right? Because we just talked about this. Banks tell us to save our money in the bank because they go out and use our money to go make a profit. Right? They go and take the money out of it and they go make a profit. Right? But they tell us to go save our money in the banks because they want to use our money to go make a profit. Right? So, banks are always on the move with their money, always putting their money to work. We got to get you a ring light. Bro, it's on a ring light. Man, I need to get a better one, man. It's on a ring light. Dang, I'm looking dark. We gonna figure it out. We good. Hey, I'm gonna keep going. But listen here. Hey, a bank once said that a bank owner once said that listen, the worst money that a bank can have is the money that's sitting in the register of its bank teller. The worst money that the bank can have is sitting in a register of the bank teller. Why is that? Because they can't do anything with it. Right? If money is just sitting in your pocket, that's the worst money you can have, is money that's on hand, because it's not working for you. Saving money in the bank is literally one of the worst things that you can do with your money, outside of just spending it on just straight liabilities. But the reason being, one of the main reasons being, is inflation. Banks understand that their money has to consistently flow, right? It has to be consistently in circulation. That's why it's called currency, right? That it has to be consistently flowing in order for it to be properly functioning. Money was never meant to be stagnant. Money is a tool. Money is a tool to create more cash. And if it's not doing its function, then it deteriorates. It's just like a car. Over time, you can buy a brand new car, right? You can buy a brand new car, but over time, if that car is just sitting and not doing its design function, which is to be constantly in motion, over time, that car will begin to deteriorate, even though it was a brand new car. And that's the same way that it has to be with our money. It has to continuously be in motion at all times, because inflation is always rising. What's inflation? Inflation is when the dollar each year is devalued because the cost of living rises generally about 3.5% each year. I'm gonna say that one more time. Inflation is the dollar devaluing each year because the cost of living rises each year. So if your money is just sitting in the bank account, then it's not beating inflation. That $1 that was worth A dollar in 2020 is now worth generally only 93 cents today. And that may not sound like much, but when you start getting to hundreds and thousands of dollars, that's a big deal. Right? So myth number one was that money is an asset and it's technically a liability. It's only an asset until it duplicates itself. And number two is that we're supposed to save our money in banks. And that's the second myth. And it's not the case. We need to have our money always constantly working for ourselves. Right? So that also brings me to my third point, and understanding that oftentimes, even if we're working a 9 to 5, we assume that we don't have employees. And what I tell people is that money is your first employee. That's what you need to understand, is that money is your first employee. I don't care if you go work a 9 to 5, if you have a business and you have employees, the number one employee that you have is the faces on those dollars. Lincoln, Benjamin, Grant. Those are your first employees, and you must have a relationship with them that is business to business. You must have a money relationship that is business to business. We can't get too friendly with our money, y'all. We can't get too friendly with our money, because the moment we do that, the moment we get too comfortable with our money is when we start to find ourselves working for our money more than our money is working for us. So don't tell me you don't have employees. You have employees. Every single face on every single dollar that you touch, you need to look at it as an employee. Did I put this money to work today? How am I going to put this money to work? How is this money going to make money for me? Instead of me always having to go and work for money. Right? That's what you need to understand. We a little bit too friendly and have too much of a close relationship and close ties to our money. When we get our money, we need to figure out ways and investments and whatever strategies it is, life insurance, to immediately put our money back to work. Because if we don't do that, then we'll always find ourselves working for the money when money was designed as a tool to work for us and give us our freedom, right? But oftentimes we find ourselves in a position where we're not the ones that are benefiting from the money, because we're out working for the money when the money should be working for us. We need to gain our freedom back by putting our money to work. All right. Hold on, y'all. Bear with me. Cool. So, all right. Number 4, myth 4. This is the last one for tonight. We are taught to just continue to put our money in the stock market, right? Hey, just put your money in the stock market. You gonna be all right. It's gonna just grow over time. You gonna be good. Put your money in the stock market, and over time you'll become rich. Put your money in the stock market, and over time you'll become rich, right? That's what we're taught. But the truth is, the banks are also in the game of the stock market. They have investors. They have their advisors that are making money because you're putting your money in the stock market. And to tell you the truth, the bank does not put a lot of money in the stock market. They understand the risk of the stock market. And when they do, it's a different way that they put it in there. They're actually buying stocks versus how we do it. But we need to understand. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely post this, Micah. I'm gonna definitely post it. But what we need to understand is that if I was to do it, man, I could. One day I'm gonna show y'all. We'll do a actual masterclass on this. But the banks actually put billions of dollars in life insurance policies. And you can check it on FDIC.gov. I'll go back and I'll do an actual video where I show this to you guys. I'll go to FDIC.gov and you can actually go to banks and see their financials, right? This is public information. Y'all asking me, how do I know what banks do with their money? You asking me how I know what banks do with their money because it's public information. Anybody can go on FDIC.gov and see what investments that banks put their money. And what you'll find surprising is that we're taught as consumers, say, if you want to just get rich, put your money in real estate and in the stock market. That's what we're typically taught, right? Put your money in real estate and in the stock market. But if you go to FDIC.gov, go to line 43, when you look at a bank's financials and you compare what they typically put in the stocks and what they typically put in real estate versus what they put in life insurance cash reserves, billions. It's billions of dollars in difference of what they put in cash reserves when it comes to life insurance and what they put in the stock market and in real estate. Why? Why is that? Well, what we know as bank-owned life insurance, or BOLI, they utilize the the cash value infinite banking strategy, as we call it today, as a way to mitigate risk. Y'all, write this down as well. The key is to never lose your money. A lot of times we feel like we don't make enough money. But the truth is, we are too busy spending our money and losing it and not capturing the wealth that we're creating. Warren Buffett says, number one, never lose your money. And number two, never forget rule number one. The average person makes over $1.5 million in their lifetime. That's a lot of money. But they have nothing to show for it at the end because they've consumed it all away. And mostly giving that money right back to the bank. And that's what we do. We go out and we make a living, right? We go out and we make a living, and then we turn around and give that money right back to the bank through, again, car loans, mortgages, credit cards, personal loans. It's called a transfer of wealth. We will go out and spend our hard time, our bodies and our sweat equity, and go build wealth by earning income, because your earned income is your number one way to create wealth, right? When you go earn a dollar, your earned income. Most people make the most money based off of earned income. But then we turn around and transition that wealth right back to the bank through debt. So we never really get to see the fruits of our labor. So it's important that we have a product, a system, a strategy to be able to capture the wealth that we go out and we work for. We have to have, let me say that again, we have to have a system in place that when we go out and work, we're able to store and reserve the hard-earned income that we go and we make. And what we teach, that product, that system, that strategy that we use is our private banking system through cash value life insurance. The same insurance that the banks use to preserve their wealth is the same insurance that we teach you how to preserve your wealth. What do you get out of that banking policy? What do you get out of it? The same things and the same qualities that the banks are looking for. They're looking for something where they're not going to be in market loss. They don't want any market loss, right? They don't want to have to pay taxes on their gains. That's what you also get in your banking policy. They want to be able to borrow against their money that they've as collateral. You also get that in your banking policy. And they also want to be able to have the addition of a death benefit, which comes at a plus. So liquidity, tax advantages, avoiding market loss, and to be able to transfer tax-free wealth to the next generation. That's what you can do by becoming the bank. Understanding that if you want to really grow a business, that you must have products and services just like the bank does. The banks offer us products and services. They understand that you can get your money directly from the consumer. You can get your money directly from customers. Right? The same way the banks do. Oftentimes, we only know one way to make money, and that's to go work a job. But we also must figure out a way that we can offer products and services to the marketplace, so we can too skip the middleman of having to get credit and get loans, and that's the only way we know how to get money, and to go work a job. Right? Go work a job, get credit so you can borrow money, get loans so you can borrow money. That's the only ways we know how to truly get to money. But the banks show us, and they show us that you must offer products and services to the people, and you can go directly to the people who have the money. Right? So you need to ask yourself, what products and services do I offer? Before we even get to the banking system, what products and services do I offer? If you don't have any products and services that you offer, you need to figure out what that's going to be for yourself. All right? And then once we do that, then we can capture the wealth that we're going out and put it in a system that preserves our money, that keeps it away from market loss, that gives us tax-free advantages, that gives us liquidity. This is everything that the bank does, and that we can also implement, and this is what we teach. This is what we teach. My bro ZB said, great advice, man. Appreciate you, man. We gonna have to talk, bro. We gonna have to talk. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys tonight. When we, like I said, when we really begin to study the bank, we really begin to understand what the bank does, how they transfer risk back onto us, how they never want to keep their money stagnant. They always want to keep it moving. How they invest their money and store it into insurance, because they want to, keep their money, right? They want to keep the money that they've earned and let it grow and work on its own. If we can remember those things, I think we're, as a people, going to be closer to getting to where we want to go, and being able to have that financial independence that we truly want and desire. If we begin to continue to study the banking system and how it operates, I truly believe that we are going to reach much higher heights and deeper depths when it comes to really being able to capture wealth for generations to come, and be able to gain the financial independence that we all truly want. So I appreciate y'all coming on tonight. I am going to post it. I think I'm going to be going live every Thursday at least. Going live. I preach and just really just giving this information, giving this game, so we can continue to grow. So Appreciate everybody who came in. If you missed it, you can definitely go back on my page and watch it at another date. So check y'all out later. Appreciate it.